Oh, there you are, YouTube. We are in day 6 of our Oscar celebration, and that means two things. One, that the Oscars are tomorrow, and two, we are ranking the cover art of the Best Picture winners from the 1980s. And just as with the previous episodes of this series, I will begin by showing you the Best Picture cover art in chronological order. Starting off with Ordinary People, the Best Picture of 1980. 1981 was Chariots of Fire. 1982, Gandhi. 1983, Terms of Endearment. 1984, Amadeus. 1985, Out of Africa. 1986, Platoon. 1987, The Last Emperor. 1988, Rain Man. Also, did you notice my goof in my intro? I had these two swapped. Accident. 1989, Driving Miss Daisy. Now let's get to analyzing some cover art. The analysis of each cover will take place in chronological order as well to the film's winning Best Picture. So we start again with Ordinary People. And what I like about this, it is a film about a family, so we do get sort of this triptych framing of the family members. What I don't like about this though is these two photos for sure look like they were just sort of taken from stills from the movie. This one I can buy as a photograph. Maybe I can buy this one as a photograph as well. But Donald Sutherland here, this is definitely a still from the film, and I don't like that. That's actually a pet peeve of mine in movies when they have pictures of people and they aren't real photographs. They are instead stills or promotional photos, things like that, and it's very obvious that they are that. I always think that's a bad move. You could say this is very Lifetime, but if there is a Lifetime cover for a movie, this one did it best. We show, or what it shows right here with Timothy Hutton, his character, see the glass is intact here, the glass is intact here, but you can see these cracks in the glass and little shards of glass down here showing that, he's dealing with some issues. And I think that is a good narrative that we are getting within this picture, sort of hinting at what this film may be about. So, you could say this is cheesy, this is too on the nose, too obvious, too Lifetime movie, but again, Lifetime movie cover art that is done right. Chariots of Fire, what I like about this is it has this iconic image right here, but not the main iconic image. It's more showing a segment from the scene, but not the most popular portion of it, I would say. So I am glad that they included that. I think the font is fun, especially with this Olympic torch right here. I think that is nice. Are we sure we want to show a victory right here? Aren't you giving some things away right here? Is that a smart move? I don't know if that's a smart move. Maybe they should have focused on this, maybe use the iconic image in a way sort of similar to the way Rocky did when we covered the 1970s. I think that was a great example, of a like training image. I just don't know if you want to show a victory of any race in the film, on the cover. Let's find that out when we watch the movie. Gandhi, just an image of Gandhi looking down, probably in prayer, so that seems appropriate. I've always heard that this movie had used more extras than any other movie ever, and we are getting a bunch of them right here surrounding Gandhi, so I think that's kind of cool. If that is a bit of true trivia, it's cool that it's sort of showcased right here behind him. In the end, though, I think this one is kind of boring. Almost looks like he's praying down to the Oscar right here, right? In a way, or maybe just looking at it, being like, "Hi, little guy. Hi, we beat E.T. We beat E.T." Anyway, I don't know, just sort of simple, but yeah. Terms of Endearment, I really like the font here with the title. I think that is great, but the image right here is boring Lifetime, where I think Ordinary People was exciting Lifetime image. This is just a picture of, two main characters. Let's do something else. Let's maybe add a little bit of narrative, but I guess, I don't know, it's it's kind of, I don't think it says, hey, watch us, watch this movie. But I think what it does is say, hey, look, these people are happy. And then when you watch the movie, it's like, whoa, what a roller coaster. So I guess it has that, aspect. Like when you're watching the movie, it's maybe a little different than maybe what you expected, which can be a good thing. But overall, I'm not really impressed with this. It's just a photo of the two of them. What I like most, I guess, is the title. Amadeus. Little backstory on this piece of physical media. It took quite a while for me to find this because I had the director's cut. This here is the theatrical, which I found very difficult to find. Eventually found it, and glad to have both versions to compare and contrast. The film anyway, the director's cut, basically the box, the cover art looks the same, and then it says director's cut underneath, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I really like this very graphic image. Salieri here is extremely bold and illustrative and strong, and kind of horrifying. We have this expanse of architecture happening over here, which Salieri is hovering over, and inside here, very tiny. It's that Queen of the Night opera. It's in the movie. Let me see if I can get it here for you. Do you see that? You recognize that from the movie if you've seen it? It's the part where it's like that part. That's what that's from. But yeah, I don't know. I think it looks kind of horrifying. I think it's pretty great, and I think it fits with the tone of the movie. Not necessarily the humor, but the dark sides of the film definitely conveyed here in this image. So I would say this is a very strong one. And I think when you watch the movie, you would also be surprised that a lot of this is undertone, where I think you get other tones and vibes and moods from the film. This is definitely here, but I think it's almost hidden underneath the film a little bit more than some of the other tones you get. Like the humor, I think, comes through pretty strongly, but I don't know. I love this image and how it relates to the film. It's great. Out of Africa, one of my least favorite Best Picture winners of all time, but we are not ranking Best Picture winners. We are ranking physical media cover art. And this one also, maybe not one of the worst of all time, but not very good. Just two lead actors right here sitting next to one another. Meryl Streep is heavily airbrushed. Let me show you. Look at that. Where he looks more photographic, you can tell who you're looking at there. That's definitely Robert Redford, right? Everybody can tell. I think that's, photographic there. But what? Just over airbrushed? Were they even there together? Was this just pieced together? I don't know. They do not match when it comes to texture. I don't think so. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think they match. I think they are separate images pulled together, but I could be wrong. Maybe this scene is in the movie. I don't think so. I think this is put together, but anyway, one of my least favorites of all the Best Picture winners, and I don't have nice things to say about this, really. I don't know. The font here, but that's less to do with the cover art. I guess the spacing of the text here, the title versus where they are, is kind of nice. The background looks nice. I don't know. I just get so distracted by how airbrushed Meryl Streep is to where she's barely recognizable. You can recognize her, but she just looks over airbrushed, and I think that's too bad. We have our first steelbook from the 80s, our only steelbook from the 80s, but very excited about it. This one is also extra special to me because I had the chance to meet Oliver Stone, and that is his signature right there. I got him to sign. This is very simple, very clean. I absolutely love it, even with his signature. I made sure to give him a silver pen so everything would match, silver marker. But we have Willem Dafoe's dog tags, his character's dog tags. What is that name? Groden, right? Is that right? Probably saying that wrong. Are right there. The title right there in bold, also letting us know that it is an Oscar winner. MGM logo down here. I love this cover so much, and the fact that it is a steelbook only adds to it. Has a wonderful sort of rough texture, not overly rough, but you know, it just has a really nice texture, like a matte texture to it, and I adore this piece so much, and I love that I had a chance to get it signed by Oliver Stone. And this is my Criterion for The Last Emperor. It has the theatrical version of the film on it, also has the television version of the film on it, but again, we aren't ranking the film itself, we are ranking the covers, and I love this cover. Another clean, beautiful example using this classic scene from, this classic image from the film. The text here, that sort of nice gold color, which blends in well, has nice unity with the sky that we are seeing over here, and then the reflected sky right here. It just all goes together so nicely. Love the dark that we have over here. You know, that nice red happening. The framing right here happening of the yellow sky, which is beautiful. Just a really clean image, and I think it is fantastic. Before we end though, look how thick that is. That is a thick piece of media here. And whoops, that's upside down. Here we go. Thick piece of media. Absolutely love this. A favorite in my collection. Boring image. Why waste my time? I mean, I guess you have super cool looking Tom Cruise in contrast to his brother over here who's looking more plain. I don't know, the repetition of the trees is kind of nice. This nice diagonal right here cutting through the two of them. But what does it say about the film? Not too much. I think maybe there should have been more interesting scene happening, background happening. I don't know. It's just two characters walking towards us, and all it really shows is how they dress differently. So I guess you're, you know, looking at this and like, oh, why are these two people together? But they don't look so different to where it's like you wouldn't believe it, you know, that these two people would be hanging out. It's just like it almost just looks like an older guy and a younger guy who thinks he's cool because he's wearing sunglasses. So anyway, I find this area boring. The trees are nice. That's just a nice design principle that we're seeing right there. Text over the two of them. I don't know. I guess that's fine. I don't know. Nothing about this really excites me. I just like the repetition of the trees, I guess, is all about all I can say. Even as a kid, I always felt like this cover, back when it was on a VHS, looked unfinished. This image just kind of always looked unfinished to me. I don't know if I want to see sky or road ahead of me or trees or what, just landscape in general or not, but it just seems a little unfinished. I don't know why. Maybe I need bigger text here, or the text down a little bit more. I don't know, but I do like that they are illustrated. You know, that's great. Rear view mirror tells you a lot about the story, you know, just with this simple image. You know, I think all of that is very successful. Love illustration always. And again, the narrative aspect, I like the font here, the names, you know, don't take up too much space. But something about all the white here has kind of always bothered me, even as a kid. It just looks a little unfinished, and I've never really been able to put my finger on what should be happening here, because if we were seeing what was in front of them, I think that might be too much information, right? Like just a little too busy, but this looks too blank. I don't know. So I'm interested to see where I place this one myself. Now I just got to find a way to rank all of these.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, I think I got my ranking, and I got to talk about a few of these all at once so that you know why Rain Man is last where these two, these three, these four are placed. Like, why is Terms of Endearment not last? Basically, I like the font of the title. It's almost simply that. I guess I like that we can see their faces, and I like that we can see them in a happy relationship here, and then when you watch the film, you get a contrast to this image that we're seeing. Why isn't this one last? Basically, it's just the colors. I think the colors are prettier, and this one, I think, is garish. I think this tells me absolutely nothing, and the only thing I find interesting are the trees, and I don't want to put down the trees, because, like, I keep saying it, but I feel like I'm saying it in a tone that it's like, that's all it has. And when I say that, that is a good thing to have, just, you know, a bit of interesting design element, but other than that, it doesn't interest me, especially, you know, the title does nothing interesting here. At least, you know, you have a little bit of that happening. What I like about Gandhi, why is it not last? Because he's looking down, he's praying. It's telling you a little bit about the film. And then Chariots of Fire, I think, I mean, I don't know, I think the divide, maybe the divide is probably about here, because I'm pretty cool with Chariots of Fire. You know, maybe it's giving away a win right here, a celebratory moment, but we're looking at a dynamic image here in the pose of the figure, and you know, the title right here, I love the, can you see that right there? I love the torch, and then that classic image, but not going too classic, you know, not pulling that most famous sort of medium shot of the people running. We're looking at more of a long shot, which I think is nice, because that's not like the image that I think people think of necessarily. Then we have Driving Miss Daisy, sort of middle of the road-ish. I just really can't figure out how I feel about it. It's a little too blank here for me, but I do love the illustrative quality that we're getting here and how much information we are given just from this simple image. Again, if there is a Lifetime, you know, style, you could say this is it, but they did it wonderfully. And maybe it's too on the nose, but even if it is on the nose, I like it. The only thing, what really docks it here, is that these images, specifically this one anyway, does not pass for a normal photo that you would see framed. It looks like a film still from the movie. Ominous image. I absolutely love it. Very bold. It is just sort of frightening to look at, and I love it. Beautiful right here. Just a beautiful image. Love the silhouette. It is, that backlighting is just fantastic, and it's just a very clean image, very clean, beautiful cover art. Speaking of that, this is my number one right here, Platoon, and I'm not even taking into consideration Oliver Stone's signature, which does add to it and I think is absolutely fantastic. But what I like, you know, one, that it's a steelbook, but even that really doesn't do anything. I mean, it does something, but let's say this is not a steelbook and Oliver Stone didn't sign it, I think it would still be number one because of the simplicity. I think it is fantastic, very spare when it comes to other logos in here. It doesn't have, you know, blurbs or anything. Like if you go over here, Roger Ebert's given a blurb about the movie. Love Roger Ebert, by the way. But this is sparse, clean, and just a beautiful piece of art, in my opinion. And there they are all together. So that is my ranking of the cover art from the Best Picture winners of the 1980s. How would you rank them? I'm curious to know. Also, if you are familiar with physical media editions, there were some pretty poor ones in this section. Do you know of any of those films back there that have better editions with better cover art? Because I would like to upgrade if I ever come into any money. I don't think there is a better version of Platoon, though that is a DVD. I guess a Blu-ray would be a better version of that. Same thing with The Last Emperor, but I do love the cover art there. It'd be very hard to top that, especially with the signature. But back here, if you know of any editions that are better with better cover art, I would love to know in the comments so that I can hopefully purchase those. I would love it if you could point me towards those. One more thing to note, since tomorrow is the Oscars, I will not be continuing this series, but it will continue after the Oscars, maybe 2 or 3 days after. We'll get back into it. We will rank the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s, and the 2020s. Wow. Probably not, well, I'll put together the 2010s and the 2020s because we don't have much of the 2020s. But I will continue this series, just going to take a little bit of break for the Oscars and maybe the following day as well. But I will have videos out those days. They just won't be a part of this series. So look out for an Oscar reaction and then another following video. But then we will get back to this series. But anyway, outside of that, thank you so much for watching this ranking. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout. Best Picture.